Imagine getting the job offer you've been waiting for. Great salary, good benefits, nice job title. You're excited. You might even call your family and tell them, I finally got the job. But what if the offer that looks like a career opportunity is actually a warning? Because toxic workplaces rarely say, we're toxic. They use attractive phrases. We're like a family. We need someone who's willing to go above and beyond. This role requires flexibility. There's huge potential for growth. Sounds great, right? But sometimes those words are hiding something completely different. And the scary part is, you might not discover what they really mean until after you sign the tool. Contract. A great salary can't always compensate for a terrible manager. A fancy title can't fix a toxic culture. And unlimited growth opportunities mean nothing if nobody actually gets promoted. So today, we're breaking down 7 signs that your great-looking job offer might actually be a trap. And stay until number 7, because that one can keep people stuck in the wrong job for years. If you want to understand the hidden rules of work, money, and career growth, subscribe to Farhan Explains Work and Money. Let's start with the first warning sign. Let's start with one of the most attractive phrases in a job interview. We're like a family here. It sounds warm. It sounds supportive. It sounds like the kind of workplace where people care about each other. But before you get excited, ask yourself one question. What does family actually mean in this company? Because sometimes we're like a family, means teamwork and support. But sometimes it means everyone is expected to sacrifice. People feel guilty taking time off. Employees are expected to stay late. Boundaries are treated like a lack of commitment. And when the company needs something from you, they remind you how much the team has done for you. You might hear, we all help each other out, which sounds harmless, until helping out becomes working extra hours every week. The problem isn't the word family. The problem is when a company uses emotional loyalty to replace professional boundaries. A healthy workplace should be able to say, we value you as an employee. A toxic workplace may quietly communicate, because we value you, you should be willing to sacrifice more. Those are very different messages. So if a company says they're like a family, don't immediately reject the offer. Instead, ask, how does the company support employees when they need time off? Ask, what are the normal working hours for this position? And ask, how often does the team work outside those hours? The answers will tell you much more than the word family ever will. Here's another warning sign. You read the job description, and somehow, you still don't know what the job actually is. You see phrases like, wear many hats, support various business functions, take ownership, handle additional responsibilities as needed. Again, these phrases aren't automatically bad. In a small company, flexibility can be completely normal. But when almost everything is vague, you should pay attention, because unclear responsibilities can become unlimited. Responsibilities, you might be hired as a marketing specialist, then suddenly you're doing sales, then customer support, then reporting, then administrative work, then training new employees. And every time you ask about your responsibilities, you hear, we're a fast-moving company. That sentence can be true, but it can also become an excuse for constant scope creep. And here's the important distinction. Good flexible job says, things change, but will prioritize your workload. A toxic flexible job says, everything is your responsibility. So before accepting the offer, ask, what are the 3 most important responsibilities for this role? Then ask, how will success be measured? And finally, what responsibilities would not be part of this role? That last question is powerful, because sometimes what a company refuses to define becomes the biggest part of your job. Now let's talk about money, because this is where many people get emotionally trapped. You ask about compensation, and instead of giving you a clear answer, the company starts talking about your future. There's huge potential here. You can grow quickly. We're expanding. Your earning potential will increase, maybe. But potential is not compensation potential. Doesn't pay your rent. Potential doesn't pay your bills. And potential definitely isn't guaranteed. If the current salary is lower than what the market typically pays for the role, don't let vague promises about the future distract you from the present. Ask, when are salaries typically reviewed? What determines a raise? What does progression to the next level look like? And most importantly, can you give me an example of someone who started in this role and what their career progression looked like? Now you're asking for evidence, and evidence is much more valuable than promises. If they can explain a clear progression path, great. If they keep saying, it depends, we'll see. There are lots of opportunities without giving you anything concrete. Be careful, because sometimes companies sell you the future, because the present isn't attractive. Enough. Here's one of the easiest warning signs to miss. Attention to the people already working. There. Not just what the recruiter says. Not just what the manager says. Look at the employees. During interviews, you may meet someone from the team. Watch their behavior. Are they energetic? Do they seem comfortable? Do they speak openly? Or do they look exhausted? Are they constantly checking their phone? Do they seem nervous around the manager? Do they avoid eye contact when you ask about the culture? Sometimes people reveal the truth without saying a word, and if you get the opportunity, ask an employee, what do you enjoy most about working here? Then ask, what's the hardest part of working here? And listen carefully. If every answer sounds rehearsed, that tells you something. If employees immediately mention long hours, constant pressure, poor management, or people leaving, pay attention. One unhappy employee doesn't mean the company is toxic, but if the same problems keep appearing from different people, that's a pattern. And patterns matter more than promises. Now this one is subtle. You receive the offer, and the company says, we need your answer today, or this offer expires tonight, or we have other candidates, so we need to move quickly. Sometimes there is a legitimate reason for urgency, but pressure can also be a strategy. Why? Because when you're excited and rushed, you stop evaluating. You start thinking emotionally. You think, what if I lose this opportunity? And suddenly, you're afraid to ask questions. You're afraid to negotiate. You're afraid to request time to review the contract. Remember, a good opportunity should survive reasonable questions. If you say, I'd like a couple of days to review the offer, a professional employer should generally understand. If they react with anger, guilt, or threats, that's useful information because you're not just evaluating the job. You're evaluating how they behave when you have boundaries, and that behavior can tell you a lot about what working there will feel like. Sometimes, your brain notices something before you consciously understand it. Maybe the manager interrupts constantly. Maybe they speak badly about previous employees. Maybe they complain about how lazy younger workers are. Maybe they tell you, the last person couldn't handle the pressure. Maybe they proudly explain how late everyone stays. Or maybe they keep emphasizing that the company needs people who are not afraid to work hard. None of these things automatically prove a toxic workplace. But look at the pattern, especially when the interviewer spends more time describing what they hate about previous employees than explaining how they support current employees. That's a major signal, because interviews aren't just companies evaluating you. You are evaluating them too. And here's something important. Pay attention to how they treat you when they don't need anything from you yet. Are they respectful? Do they answer your questions? Do they give clear information? Do they respect your time? Because that's probably the best behavior you're going to see. If they are already disrespectful before you even join, don't assume they'll magically become better after you sign. This is the big one. The salary sounds good. The title sounds impressive. The company talks about growth. The benefits look attractive. The office looks amazing. Everything looks perfect on paper. But then you ask, why do people stay here? And nobody gives you a convincing answer. That's when you need to slow down. Because great companies usually have stories. People can tell you, my manager helped me grow. I got promoted after 2 years. The company invested in my development. I like the people I work with. The workload is manageable. There are reasons, real reasons. But if the only reason people stay is, well, The salary is good. That's worth investigating because money can keep someone in a bad situation for a surprisingly long time. The better question is, what does this job give me besides a paycheck? Does it build valuable skills? Does it increase your market value? Does it give you access to better opportunities? Does it have a manager who actually develops people? Does the company promote from within? Does the workload allow you to have a life outside work? Because a high-paying job can still be a bad career move if it slowly destroys your energy, reputation, skills, or opportunities. And here's the biggest lesson. Don't judge a job offer by what you get on day one. Judge it by where that job can take you after 1, 2, or 3 years. So let's put all 7 signs together. Number 1. We're like a family, but boundaries are unclear. Number 2. The job description is vague and responsibilities keep expanding. Number 3. They sell you potential instead of giving you clear answers about compensation and progression. Number 4. The ate. Employees look exhausted and the same problems keep appearing. Number 5. They pressure you to accept immediately. Number 6. The interview itself feels uncomfortable, and the manager reveals more red flags than reassurance. And number 7. The job looks amazing on paper, but nobody can explain why people actually stay. Now, here's the important part. None of these signs automatically means never take the job. You don't want to reject a great opportunity because of one strange sentence. Instead, think of these signs as questions you need answered, because your goal isn't to find a perfect company. There is no perfect company. Your goal is to find a company where the trade-off makes sense. You give them your time, skills, and energy. In return, you should receive fair compensation, professional growth, respect, and reasonable boundaries. That's the exchange. And when that exchange becomes one-sided, that's when a great-looking job can become a trap. So before you accept your next job offer, don't just ask, how much does it pay? Ask, what will this job cost me? How much of your time? How much of your energy? How much control will you have over your schedule? What skills will you gain? What opportunities will open up? And what kind of manager will you be working for? Because sometimes, the most expensive job isn't the one with the lowest salary. It's the one that pays you enough to stay while quietly preventing you from moving forward. A job offer is not just an opportunity to earn money. It's an agreement about how you're going to spend a large part of your life. So read the offer carefully. Ask uncomfortable questions. Look for patterns and never let excitement make the decision for you. If this video made you look at job offers a little differently, then subscribe to Farhan Explains Work and Money, because here we break down the hidden rules of work, money, career growth, workplace psychology, and office politics, so you can make smarter career decisions and stop leaving money and opportunities on the table. And remember, a great job offer isn't just about what you're promised, it's about what happens after you say yes. I'll see you in the next video.